this sector which has huge tailwinds, that has lots of opportunity for growth, and also in an environment where, frankly, pricing for the shares is at a level that doesn't reflect the value of the asset. So there's an opportunity to get in now, be part of something that has huge potential in the future, and get in at what we think is an attractive valuation.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. Joining me in the studio today is David Burt. He's co-fund manager of Octopus Renewables Infrastructure Trust, also known as ORIT. David, thank you very much for coming into the studio.
Thank you for having me.
Could you maybe start by telling us a little bit more about the trust and its objectives?
Sure. So Octopus Renewables Infrastructure Trust, we call it ORIT for short. As the name suggests, we're focused on building and operating renewable energy infrastructure, in particular wind and solar, but also some other technologies. And what we're trying to deliver to investors is a balance between an attractive level of income and growing that income through dividend growth, but also offering capital growth as well that we can deliver, because we're not just owning operational wind and solar farms, but also developing and building new ones and adding value in that way.
Can you take us through ORIT's investment strategy, David?
Sure. So within that arena of renewable energy, we're very much focused on wind and solar as the core. That's because we believe those are the technologies that are going to be the backbone of our energy system for decades to come. But within that, we think it makes sense to have diversification. So we're very focused on diversification, not just between those technologies, wind and solar, but also having geographical diversification. So because we invest in projects around Europe, that means that investors see different weather patterns, see different regulatory regimes, and that diversification we think is really a valuable risk mitigant.
What are the benefits of renewable energy investments beyond addressing decarbonisation, David?
So there's lots of characteristics around these assets that we think are attractive. One is that a lot of them benefit from a high level of fixed price revenues. Sometimes that's from government support schemes. Sometimes that's from selling our power to large corporates, for example, data center owners and operators. So that level of fixed revenue gives confidence behind our ability to pay and cover the dividend. But we also have a lot of inflation protection. So we're investing in underlying real assets. So there's something tangible there behind the investment. And a lot of those revenue streams, as well as being fixed, are explicitly inflation linked as well, because of the way those contracts or government support schemes are set up.
You're backed by Octopus Energy Generation. Does that give you an advantage in a competitive market?
So I think there's two main reasons why having Octopus Energy Generation as the investment manager is a competitive advantage for the vehicle. One is we have a very large team. There's over 150 professionals within Octopus Energy Generation, and with real expertise in the asset class. We're a real specialist, but we're not just finance professionals. We have engineers, people from turbine manufacturers who really understand the assets. And secondly, we are part of the broader Octopus Energy group. And because of that, and because of everything that Octopus Energy does, we have real insight into how the energy market is changing, and it's changing very rapidly across all of our markets. And that insight and that closeness to regulators and governments gives us, we think, an edge in understanding how we should think about these investments.
You've already talked about diversity in your portfolio. How does that protect you from volatile conditions, David?
So one example is by having wind and solar together. Generally, we've found over the years that in periods where it's not so sunny, it's a bit more windy, and vice versa. So you've got that smoothing of cash flows that comes from having the combination of different technologies. And then on the geographical side of things, again, we see governments sometimes going a little bit faster or slower on how much they're supporting new renewable energy. We don't have to worry about being exposed just to one government because we're invested across Europe. And similarly, we don't have to worry so much that if we have a very cloudy period in the UK, we've also got solar in France. So we've got that, I guess, reduction in risk and volatility that comes from having a more diverse portfolio.
I mean, beyond retail energy, which Octopus Energy is well known for, the trust focuses on renewable energy. What are the opportunities there?
So if you look at what's going on in the economy at the moment, obviously costs are very high for people living. And there's a lot of focus on decarbonisation. There's also a lot of focus on energy security and where is our energy coming from and will we be able to rely on it. Renewable energy solves all of those three problems. It's the cheapest way of building new electricity generation now. Powering things with electricity is the future for huge parts of the economy that currently rely on burning things like transport and vehicles, things like heating. And clearly that solves for decarbonisation as well. So just the scale of the opportunity in renewable energy is one of the things that we think makes ORIT such an interesting investment.
David, what opportunities does the UK government's Clean Power 2030 initiative present for the company?
Yeah, well, that's just one great example of that sort of momentum and opportunity behind renewable energy. So governments across our target markets are generally very supportive. That Clean Power 2030 target is really just sort of an acceleration of ambition that was already there. But it means that, for example, the developers that we've backed to go and find new wind and solar sites in the UK can have confidence that the government's going to be looking to find ways of supporting those projects and enabling us to build those projects and offer attractive returns to investors.
Maybe just finally, why should investors be excited about ORIT?
Well, I think it comes from that opportunity, the fact that we are part of this huge, the sector which has huge tailwinds, that has lots of opportunity for growth, and also in an environment where, frankly, pricing for the shares is at a level that doesn't reflect the value of the asset. So there's an opportunity to get in now, be part of something that has huge potential in the future, and get in at what we think is an attractive valuation.
David, I hope you'll keep us updated on your progress. Thank you very much for coming into the studio today.
Thanks again for having me.
That's David Bird. He's co-fund manager of Octopus Renewables Infrastructure Trust.